Focusing on your breathing, aren't you? You know, in and out, deep breath. Well, because when we're stretching, you know, of course the inhale is going to help you expand. The exhale is supposed to help you stretch a little further, all right? So let's practice that a little bit. So hands are going to be shoulder width apart with the strap. So pushing the shoulders down to the floor, stomach is tight, knees are slightly bent. So as we bring it just regularly halfway up, good. Take your deep breath, exhale, allow it to push back a little bit. So when we press these arms overhead, we keep the body straight, knees are slightly bent, stomach is always tight. Inhale and reach up. Exhale, drop the shoulders and bring it down. Then inhale, exhale up, hold. Inhale, keep pushing back, keeping that stomach real tight. So inhale and exhale down. So this time we're going to take that breath and go a little faster up. So inhale, exhale as we get to the top, hold it. And then we'll go inhale to reach, exhale to bend. Now at this point, this top arm is reaching to the ceiling and going behind your head. You can kind of use the strap to help it move a little bit back. So inhale and exhale back to the center. Reset your posture, shoulders down, chest up, stomach tight. Inhale and exhale to the other side. So top arm reaching to the ceiling. This arm may be even helping to pull it a little teeny bit back behind you. Because you'll find with these stretches, you can get a little bit or a lot depending on what you do. And that shoulder and lat connects all the way down to your hip. So it's important that we get everything. So from here, we're going to bend the knees slightly and just rotate to one side as far as you can, and then come right back through. So we're really not going to stop. We're going to go all the way as far as you can and then come back, because your hips will turn a little bit. But we're not going to be too strict right now. Just keep your belly button tight. Good. Then stay right there. Bring it on down. Take it behind you. Excuse me. Shoulders are back and down. So right now, you have your chest up a little bit. You're squeezing those shoulder blades. Okay, and that's where your shoulders and your back want to be so that the shoulder tracks properly. So take your breath. As you exhale, come up to whatever feels comfortable. See, personally, I have issues with, well, both shoulders, but right now it's more the left. So this hurts on my left. Not pain, but like I can feel it's uncomfortable. The right one's okay. So I know that I need more stretching on it because it's feeling funky. Back down, take it a little bit wider. So what the moral of the story is almost, when something doesn't feel right, it usually is tight and needs to be stretched. And stretching can also be through a range of motion on a machine. Keep your chest up, just take those arms wherever they can go. And you know, I know you don't want to hear this, but as we get older, we tend to need more stretching. We don't move as much, so muscles get tight, then joints hurt. So you probably know that's why you're here, right? All right, so we're going to take this up one more time. So as these arms go back behind your head, don't let your back bend. Body stays nice and straight. All right, so one more time, we're going to lift that arm to the ceiling. I want you to try to feel how it can go all the way to the hip. Press it back behind the head a little. Good. This time we're going to come up straight. You're going to keep that same arm there. The other arm is going to bend like this. Okay? And just hold this here. Now we're going to take that same arm and we're going to take it in front of you or behind you. Now behind you, you might have to lengthen a little bit on the strap. All right, so you might have to grab farther away on the strap. If it's behind you, you're going to pull it back just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. And that should be your bicep stretching and your shoulder too. Just breathe, because sometimes these stretches can get too intense. And if it doesn't feel good this way, then you still want to go that way. So we're going to come back down. I'm going to bring mine back to regular so we can do the other side, and then I'm going to expand it again. So going outside shoulder width, first we take our deep breath and we press back. Squeezing your shoulder blades down will help you with the stretch. Stomach tight, take your breath in. As we exhale, this one's coming up. And that's where this one can actually help that arm that's reaching to the ceiling by using the strap to pull it as you reach. Now, depending on which way you did the other one, well, you might want to do this one the same way. But don't feel obligated. Whoops, we leave that there, I knew that. Because this is coming down here. Then this is coming out either straight this way or straight that way and taking your strap longer. Yeah. All right, so then from here, we're just gently using the strap to pull that arm back. Think of it like you've probably seen somebody who will stand behind somebody else and pull their shoulders back. That's what you're doing, except you're not using someone else, you're using you. Good. And of course, I didn't give the speech yet, but you know whenever we're stretching, you always stretch to what's comfortable, not to what's painful. All right, you have to be able to feel like you can hold that stretch for a long time. So take your right foot forward. And we're going to take this just shoulder width. Drop the shoulders, lift the chest, tighten the stomach. Inhale, as we exhale, rotate towards the window. So you're only going to rotate until the arms stay straight and your balance stays fine and your shoulders stay down and your stomach stays tight and you're holding, you're breathing, and with each exhale you might actually turn a little more. That's part of the reason why we hold things, so that your body can relax and then maybe move a little more. So as we come back to the center, take a deep breath, and guess what? Go back. The second time around usually is better. I think, granted, we all know we're not going to spin all the way around, but you're going to get as far as you can. Come back center. Good. Relax that. Switch the feet. With your feet staggered, your hips can't move, so it's going to be a tighter stretch than what we did without the feet staggered. So inhale, exhale, rotate towards that front leg. So shoulders stay down, arms stay straight, knees are a little bent, breathing. Good. And as we come back to the center, take your breath, turn one more time. Remember, each exhale, you can maybe turn a hair more. As we bring it back to the center, I'm going to take that down. Now, before we get too far though, I want to go ahead and stretch our neck. So just put the strap down for a moment. Take your hands, go ahead and clasp them behind you and push them to the floor. So this way we have a little bit of a shoulder stretch already. So with your breath in, yes, get it released in the shoulders, and then we're going to inhale to lengthen, exhale to turn the head to one side. Be very conscious of the fact of your shoulders being behind you. You want to feel it from behind the ear all the way down to the shoulder. Now, as you take a deep breath in right now, you're going to exhale and very slowly bring your head back to the center. Make sure it is in line with your spine, and then we'll take that deep breath and exhale to the other side. So be aware that your shoulders stay down. Sometimes when the neck is tight, the shoulders want to come up. So you're just rotating, thinking about that angle from the ear to the shoulder. And then as we inhale, we can exhale back slowly to the center. Always want to be gentle with the neck. Once we're back to the center, we're going to lift those arms behind you. Hold to whatever's comfortable. And then as we take that down, you're still going to push them to the floor, because this time we're going to just take that head to one side. So as the ear falls to the shoulder, This opposite side is the stretching side. So from the ear, down the neck, into the shoulder. So with this shoulder, you almost want to pull it away. That's why we have the hands behind us to help pull that shoulder away and get deeper. So then on your next exhale, when you come up slowly, we reset, pull that head back, take your breath, and then to the other side. So remember, you're trying to create distance between the ear and the shoulder. So if you're stretching your neck during the day, just think about creating distance. Coming back to the center. If you've ever had somebody do traction on your neck, you know it feels really good. They're like pulling your head off your body, and it feels good because everything's releasing. Same thing with that stretch. All right, so what we're going to do is when we get to the floor, you're going to use either your block or your towel. We're going to pick one side, and I'm going to show you right now. We're going to have the block between your waist and your elbow, okay? This is going to keep you nice and strict, all right? And then we're going to do rotator cuff is going to be here. Now when we do a rotator cuff exercise, your body is going to try to take this perpendicular like that. That's not where it goes. It doesn't go like that. Your rotator cuff is only going to go about a 45-degree angle. Your subconscious mind is going to say, no, it needs to go all the way over there. So then your body's going to try to roll and move. Don't let it. Body stays still. This is as far as it's going to go. All right? Your body tries to cheat for you without you realizing it. It does. I'm sorry. It's nice that way, but it's not helping. So we're going to do that one, and then we're going to do another one where we are going to not use the block, and we're going to lay down, and we're going to do what's called a straight arm lift. And when we do it, I'm going to say, have your arm in line with your nose or your forehead. So that means it's here. So it'll be out in front of you. But that'll make more sense when you lay down. So lay down, get on your side. If you have a good side, don't start with that one. If you have a weaker side, that's the one you want to start with. Okay? You want to lay with that shoulder up. So your weaker side is the first side you're doing. That means that shoulder should be facing the ceiling because that's the one we're going to start with. The arm that's not working can just go wherever you want it, under your head or whatever you want. Okay, turn a little sideways so you can just see. But yeah, go ahead and lay on your side. Get the block there because sometimes it takes a second or two to get comfortable. Knees should be bent. Okay, you have that light weight. Now, also with this exercise, it's better to do a lot of repetitions than to go too heavy. So I'm starting on my left side. That means I'm laying on my right side. My left side is towards the ceiling, so that's getting worked first. I've got the block between like my waist or on top of my hip. All right, so the arm will come down, and depending if you've got a towel, you probably have a better range of motion, but coming down and then coming up, but not all the way up. Okay, remember, it's going to be at an angle. So then we take our weight. At any time, if the weight is too heavy, put it down. Okay? So the weight is here. Then we're slowly coming up. And in case you didn't guess, the elbow has to stay on the block or on the towel. Now, once you get good at it, you don't even have to use the block or the towel. You'll know to keep that elbow there, but again, that's what happens with your body. It tries to cheat. So we try to, it's not going to go all the way down. So you just go down to whatever until that arm maybe is a little less than parallel to the floor, and slowly, so like everything else, nice and slowly. So as you're doing it, it may not seem like a big range of motion, but you'll start to feel the shoulder get kind of warm. You'll start to feel some of the muscles. When you're more aware of your muscles, you can actually think of the muscles in the back lifting the shoulder, because the rotator cuff is really just 4 muscles that are part of the back. They're smaller muscles, but they work together as a group to help the shoulder function and move in and out of where it's supposed to go. Now, is anybody feeling it yet? Because I am. Okay. You guys are all like, poker faces, so how can I tell? So the main thing is you go as many good ones as you can. Never worth it to cheat. When you start to feel your range of motion is, see, like I'm not getting it all the way up where I was before, so I'm gonna stop. When your range of motion starts to get smaller, you stop. Okay, the goal is to just feel that muscle. It's not to annihilate it, it's just to feel it and get it warm. So from here, this is the hard part, we're turning over. So now we gotta do the other side. The problem with, I think, with rotator cuff exercises, they're so important and they're great to do as a warm-up, but they're boring. They're kind of boring. And they take so long because you gotta do one side, then the other side. But anybody with shoulder issues should really do these every day. They do also make a great warm-up for your workout. So coming down a little bit, and then getting that point. So staying in control. The beginning repetitions, when you're not fatigued, you'll be able to feel your back a little bit more. That right around your shoulder blade. Now I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to. Do not squeeze the dumbbell. Keep the dumbbell loose in your hand, all right? Sometimes we get tired and we start squeezing the dumbbell instead of using the muscle. So we're still gently going. And don't be surprised if one side is a lot easier than the other. Good. Alice, you're moving your body a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that. Your body's moving back just a hair. Keep it nice and steady. Yep, right there. Because that's what happens. Your body's like, yeah, we can go further. Let's lay over. And it's not what you want. We have good intentions. Our body does not. So the other reason starting with the weaker side is because you'll have a little more energy. When you automatically go to the other side, like this side, you'll know, oh, it's my stronger side. Why does it feel harder? Because you already worked one side. Okay? Because I'm like about to die here. Okay. Everybody get warm and toasty shoulders? So now when it's cold next week and you come for yoga, you're going to start with your rotator cuff to keep you nice and warm. All right, so back up. We're going to go ahead and swap around to the other side. Sorry, there's no easy way to. Okay. Well, we're doing a different exercise, so it might be okay, but it might not. I don't know. It's always good to have two. And that's true. It's always good if you get on the floor to do these, take a 1 pound and a 2 pound. All right? Doing these correctly, you're not going to use more than 4 pounds if you're, and that's if you're really, really, really strong. Okay, you're better off going for 15 or 20 repetitions than trying to go for 3 or 4, all right? Some things are good for strength, some are not. All right, so this one is the straight arm. So the straight arm, remember I said you're gonna have it out in front of your nose. So it's just as it sounds. Your arm goes straight up. When it gets to the top of the ceiling, you're squeezing your shoulder blade, then it's gonna come back down, stretch a little bit so it's in line with your nose, or your forehead, whichever you prefer, and then up top. So we want to be careful though with this one that we don't let our body roll over, because when your arm gets to the top, it's going to want to go behind you, but we don't want that to happen. So at the very top right here, we want to squeeze those muscles right behind the shoulder. These are small little muscles that unfortunately get neglected, but they are like the most important muscles in your body. Because if you've ever had a shoulder injury, you know it really changes a lot more that you can do than you realize. So slow is always the name of the game. Squeezing the right muscle. Not over gripping on the dumbbell. Now, you know what? At home, you'd be surprised. A soup can, a water bottle. Trying to think of what else. I don't know, anything you find lying around the house, you can do with this. So nice and slow, and try to feel that nice stretch in the back of the shoulder. Now this one you're going to be able to do a lot more than the other one. Yeah. The other thing is you'll be tempted to go heavier in weight. You don't necessarily want to do that because then again your body's going to cheat. So again, if you stop, let's say at 15 and you're not feeling a ton, that's okay as long as you were able to actually try to feel that shoulder working. So if it gets too easy, what you're going to do is you're going to start at the bottom and you're going to think about pulling the shoulder blade back to lift the arm. So now we start isolating the shoulder blade. So if something's too easy, you know I better focus a little more and just use that shoulder blade, pull it down, try to squeeze that shoulder blade as you go up. So we always have to fine tune, basically. You know, once we get something good, before going up in weight, we should make sure we're feeling the right muscles and doing the right tempo. Now I'm going to spin to the other side. I don't know if you guys are ready or not, but you will end up finding what your magic number is. You're not going to be getting super strong on them, so you'll probably end up with 2 pounds for 10 or 15 repetitions. And that might be fine for almost ever, and that's okay. All right, so the straight arm, you line that arm straight out until your fist is about in front of your forehead or your, what's it called? Your nose. I knew that. And then just also be aware that your body's going to try to roll over, and we don't let it. And if it's too easy, especially at the beginning, that's a great time to focus on using that shoulder blade. The back is a very hard muscle to get that mind muscle connection. Your biceps you can feel real easily. The back isn't, because your arms tend to do a lot of the work. But we should be doing this and all back work by squeezing the shoulder blades first and then using the arms to guide everything through. Yes. Now you can have a slight bend if you want. You can even lock it if you want. So either way is fine. But if you are looking at your arm and finding that all of a sudden that dumbbell's almost on your nose, then you're fatigued and you need to stop. So hopefully right here at the top, you can actually squeeze your shoulder blade and kind of feel how it comes to the back of the shoulder and then comes across to your back. When you're doing back exercises, whether it's the dumbbell row or with the rubber bands, once you learn how to feel your back initiate the movement, it's a total game changer. And I'll tell you what, it's also a huge difference in your metabolism, because your back is your second largest muscle, and when we get a little bit of muscle on the back, even though you don't see it with the naked eye, it changes your metabolism because it burns more calories when you're resting. So the back is very important to train, and train correctly, for your posture, for your shoulder, for your neck, for your metabolism, pretty much everything. And probably 98% of the people do it wrong because they use their arms. But not you. You're learning. Okay, so we're going to set that down. You have, well, I guess you have until Thursday, Friday, or Saturday to practice it, because I think Liz will be doing the class on Saturday unless it's freezing cold, and then it'll be me again. But since we're doing rotator cuff, both of us will be doing that. And if you come on Thursday at 5, we'll be doing that too. But right now, I know it's comfy and you want to fall asleep because you just did that. But we're going to roll over and do stretches. I'm going to spin this way. We're still going to keep our block within reach. We do not need the dumbbell, so you can put that wherever you want. Yeah, I always thought it would be nice to do a class that was like really all rotator cuff, shoulder strengthening or whatever, and back strengthening. But it's not easy to get in the class. It's just strengthening the back in general, and getting your awareness on what's pulling and just trying to even out. So basically what you're doing, strengthening and stretching. So lay down, grab your strap. No, don't grab your strap, but make sure your strap is close by, sorry. First we start with some easy hip stuff. All right, easy hip stuff means that your knees are together, taking those legs to one side, just your little windshield wiper here. And then taking it to the other side, holding for a few seconds, because when we hold, it gives you a chance to really push both knees to the floor a little further and push the shoulders down. So, excuse me? Oh, okay. So yeah, then going back. And And then other side, if you're not there already. Good. So once we get back to the top, we're going to take that low back and press it into the floor. Okay, remember the lower back is also a way to work the abdominals, so we push those abdominals into the floor. Tailbone goes to the ceiling, you work your abs, you get your back stretched at the same time. Let's go ahead and take your right leg completely over the left, cross it completely over, and then we'll windshield wiper here. So first let it fall to one side. We'll hold here for a couple of breaths. So shoulders are down, your arms can be out to the side if that helps. So take your breath as you exhale. See if the legs can drop a little further. And exhale. So depending on which side you went to, you're either getting outer thigh or hip flexor. Then we're going to take it to the other side and hold. So just keep those legs crossed. Remember, it's a 2 for 1. Shoulders stay down. And same thing as you take your exhale. See if we push those knees a little lower. And then we'll bring it back up to the top. We'll take that leg off, switch to the other leg. So put the other leg on top. And again, doesn't matter which side you go to, it's just one's going to get more of one leg than the other. So pick a side, take your breath, exhale. So once you get in that position, make sure those shoulders are down. Press the knees towards the floor or rotate your shoulders the opposite direction. I always think of our stretching as training to be a magician's assistant so that we can be cut in half, because we're trying to separate the upper body and the lower body. So taking these to the other side. So if you think about it that way, right above the hips is one part of your body, and then there, of course, below it is one. So when we're doing a stretch like this, we're really trying to almost twist them apart, you know? Good, so we'll take that up to the top. Oh, there are other rotator cuff exercises that I think Liz did, but I kind of wanted to make sure we did a little bit different, just so you know. I think she did the stick 'em up, which is good too. So go ahead and grab your strap. And we'll take it on a foot. So first we'll just keep that foot in the air wherever it is comfortable. And what we're going to do is we'll start with the calf. We're going to go ahead and pull your toe down to your face and then push it away from you. So think of your ankle rotating forward and back. Now, depending on where you have your strap, you might feel it more or less. If the strap is on the ball of your foot, you're probably going to feel your calf a little more, but you want to make sure you don't pull the strap off your foot and hit yourself in the face. So we're basically just stretching it through a range of motion, trying to increase that range of motion with use of the strap. Good, so then we're going to hold for a moment. Take a deep breath, exhale, we're going to pull that leg back as far as you can. So now your leg is straight. It might be bent, it might be slightly bent or a little more depending on your flexibility, but either way you're still going to be hitting those hamstrings and calves. So for this dynamic stretch, we take that leg halfway down, and then we use the strap to pull it up, and maybe pull it a little further each time. So again, thinking of like a leg swing, coming halfway down, so it comes to about the opposite knee, but as it comes back, you have a gentle tug on that strap, just enough to maybe give it a little more range of motion than it wouldn't do on its own. Good, so let's get one more. And then when you finish this one, we'll leave it at the top for a moment. And then we're going to do the same thing out to the side. So you might have to grab lower on your strap, let that leg go out to the side, and then use that to come back up. Using your breath, inhaling down, exhaling up. And also pulling that leg back for the hamstring stretch. So yes, we're going out to the side, But when that leg comes back up, we can give it a little teeny stretch back towards our face. Kind of get two things at once, since it's up there anyway, right? So let's get one more. Make sure your body stays flat on the ground. Don't let your shoulders or hips come off. All right, so we pull it back, we hold that hamstring stretch, and then we're gonna go across the body, all right? Hopefully nothing's in the way, I don't know. I think my blog's in the way. All right, so across the body. So the first three, just gonna be normal, over and up for 3. Your bottom leg can straighten or do whatever it needs to do to get out of your way. Now, after we get 3 just going straight across, we have a little extra thinking to do here. So what we're gonna do is when that leg goes across your body, we're gonna hold for a second and see if we can pull it towards your head a little bit. Then it's gonna fall where it may, take it back up for the hamstring, pull the hamstring back a little bit. We wanna get at least 3 or 4 of these. So across the body, and then along the floor a little bit, and then back up. Hamstring gets pulled back a little bit, and across. And again, remember what's comfortable. We don't want it to be painful. And there's a difference between pain and feeling a stretch that might feel not comfortable. So when you get to your last one here, go ahead and hold that hamstring stretch. I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes it seems like these things are never getting looser until the end. Good. Now we're going to take that other leg up to join it and swap them out. So first we start with the fun with the calf. That is taking the ankle back and forward. So again, your leg can be straight or slightly bent, so it's just the calf, just the ankle going back, and then forward, or your toes coming back towards your face and your toes going forward. So you want to feel that lower leg calf stretch. I mean, it's amazing how something that doesn't really, well, I guess it does do much if it's holding us up all day, right? Okay, so now we get that calf loose. We're going for the hamstring next, so we're going to lower about halfway and then walk it up. Use the strap, use the hands. There's no right or wrong way to do it, as long as you're feeling a little bit of a stretch. Your range of motion will increase a little bit each time. With the strap, you're actually able to pull it back a little more than you probably would be able to on your own. But since you're not holding it there for a long time, you can kind of get that intense stretch. Good. So let's get one more of those. And then we can do it out to the side. So you might need to adjust your hands on the straps. And we're going straight out, but remember, the first couple of them are just normal. Straight up and straight down, and then we're going to get 3 or 4 where we also stretch the hamstring. So if you haven't already started the hamstring stretch, go ahead and add it in there. So pulling that leg back when it gets to the top, taking your breath, exhaling, letting that leg relax out to the side. Then bringing it back up, exhaling into that hamstring stretch. And remember, leg can be straight or slightly bent. So probably about 2 more on here. Honestly, I didn't really count. This time when we get back up to the top, we pull it back into that hamstring stretch to hold a moment or 2. Use the breathing, deep breath, exhale, relax. All right, then we're going to take it across the body for like 3 normal ones, and then we'll add a little more work. Take your time. If something doesn't feel right, make the adjustments that you need to. You know, because everybody's body's a little bit different. All right, so now think about pulling back for the hamstring too. So we're going to come across the body. We're going to actually pull this leg along the floor or towards your head, get a little more range of motion. Bring it back, take it up top for that hamstring. Use the strap to pull that hamstring strap back or stretch back. And then across. And I know that other leg has to kind of move out of the way and back up again to help you stabilize. It's okay. And then go through. So if you're finding any of these particularly tight, that can be something that you might need some extra work on. You can do it at home with a towel. All right, so just one or two more going over the body, pulling back towards the head, and then coming up, pulling back towards the hamstring. And then when you get those two in, hold that hamstring, see how it does. And then let it relax. Go ahead and take that strap off. And we're going to take one ankle onto the opposite knee. All right, so this is going to be inner thigh and glute stretch. So what we want to do is think about that leg pushing away from your face. So you can even gently put your hand on the middle of the thigh that's on the opposite knee and just push it away a little bit. Feel how it separates right there at the hip, how your thigh connects to your hip. Get that little stretch, and if you're already flexible, then you won't feel it. If you're not like me, then you'll feel it for sure. So now we're going to take that opposite leg off the floor and pull it into your chest. So first thing we got to do is grab through the leg, under the knee, pull that leg towards your chest. Then you've got to take the upper body and let it relax a little bit. And it might back off the stretch, that's fine. I just don't want your neck and shoulders to be tight, because your shoulders should be pushing down towards the floor. So as we hold this and breathe, the leg that's bent on top, you might feel the inner thigh, maybe some hamstring, definitely some glutes. Now as we hold it here, take your breath, and when you exhale, rotate that tailbone to the ceiling a little bit so that your hips go up just a little bit, and that'll help you increase that stretch. Use your breath. Inhale deep to expand. Exhale, let it relax. And as we place that down, take that top leg straight up in the air, hold that hamstring stretch. No strap or anything, you're just going freestyle. And see if you can hold it to where you had it on the strap. All right, so now we're going to take that down. Take the other leg up. So from here, putting the hand on the middle of this thigh and kind of pushing that leg forward, because the knee really should be going straight out to the side, and maybe yours does, mine doesn't, so I'm just helping it learn by pushing the thigh away, feeling that separation right at the top of the hip, right where the leg connects. All right, then when you're ready, we can grab that leg that's on the floor, underneath, grab it, excuse me, pull it in towards your chest. So get your stretch, but then relax those shoulders. Pull those shoulders down to the floor and away from your ears as always. We're holding, breathing. And then we'll inhale and exhale to point that tailbone to the ceiling, rotate those hips a little bit. And that's how we can increase that stretch a little bit. This is also like an upside down pigeon. So in yoga, if we do the pigeon, this is very much similar and can help if you have issues with that. So we're going to take that foot down, and then we're going to go ahead and straighten that leg, pull it back, see how well that one stretches. I hope you guys use the ceiling tiles to judge like your ranges of motion, so you know where you are. Good. So we're going to bring that knee to the chest and hold. And you can push on your shin or pull with your underneath your knee. And then we're going to take that leg down, pull the other leg straight into your chest. And be aware of if your leg tries to wander to the side or if it goes straight back. So then we'll go ahead and bring that down. And we're going to take our heels and put them together, the soles of our feet and put them together. Let the knees fall out to the side. So now we look like a frog that's doing something. The knees are out to the side. We're just taking a deep breath, trying to keep the back down a little bit, stomach tight. So we should feel the inner thigh here stretch and the hip flexor, right where the legs connect to the hip. So as you take a deep breath, exhale and see if those knees can go down a little further. So you can either just use your legs, or you can even take your hands and gently put them on your upper thighs and help them push away. Now your inner thigh here connects right with your lower back, so sometimes lower back pain is a tight inner thigh. And so as we exhale this time, we'll slowly bring those knees together. And then hopefully the block is close by so you can grab it. And if you have two blocks, even better, you can use one as a pillow. But otherwise, we're going to roll onto our side. We're going to go ahead and take that block to our hip height and put the knee on top of it. So depending on how flexible you are, you can take this block lengthwise. If you can't get your leg too far down, it's going to stay a little more parallel. So it can be tall block, it can be short block, whatever kind of block you want. Bottom leg does whatever you want right now. So very much like that leg across the body stretch, we take this arm up, and this time we just let it fall backwards. So we're still trying to take that upper body off the lower body. Take your deep breath to expand the spine, kind of lengthen your spine, and then as you exhale, just let that arm drop down. And this is where we hold just to allow the muscles to loosen and stretch. And then as we bring that arm back up to the top, do you remember what we do next? Dun, dun, dun. We take that lower leg, the leg that's on the floor, and you pull the heel up. Then this arm comes down, and maybe it can grab the heel, the toe. Is my foot even there? Sometimes it's, got it. Oh yeah, this is the bad side. Okay. So here we're getting that lovely quadricep stretch from the hip to the knee. Now what you might find is that your foot's kind of pointing to the ceiling. You can gently move that foot down closer to the floor to stretch more of that inner thigh. And sometimes, yeah, like it took me a little while to find my foot and grab it, but sometimes once you get it, it's good to stay there for a little bit. Alrighty, but we must straighten that leg because we are going to do it a second time. Your second time is usually better. Your body's been there, knows what it's doing. One arm is up, going back across the body, or behind the body, sorry. So So you're opening up your arm, stretching to the floor, you're stretching your chest, shoulders, getting your back. Using your breath, so deep breath and then exhale to let it relax and go further down. And then as we take it back up, there's always got to be one stretch that's a challenge for everybody. So bring that arm up, get that lower leg, pull that heel towards your butt. If you have to roll on your stomach to grab the foot and stretch your quadricep that way, that's acceptable. But remember, you're looking for a little bit of improvement between the first and second, which can mean a lot of things. Now, if you feel nothing, then just take that lower thigh and move it backwards a little bit. That's good, because I was also going to say, or you can just pull your heel closer to your butt. You know, would hate for you to miss out on any good stuff. Well, the muscles we're stretching here and in the quadricep are the ones that get tight the most from sitting. So those muscles in the front of your leg get tight from sitting, and that can pull on your lower back and do all sorts of evils. So as we relax that foot, you can either roll on your stomach to get to the other side or roll on your back to get to the other side. But take your block with you, because guess what? We're doing the other side. This is where I forgot. We should have grabbed 2 blocks, because one's nice to use as a pillow. Okay, so we have one knee on the block, whichever way feels best for you. So first you just kind of lay there, let your body get, aware that what's coming next, get your alignment right, stomach is tight, hips are in line with the shoulders. And then we can bring that arm straight up, take your deep breath, and let that arm fall straight back. So hopefully your arm is going straight back. It didn't move to where it's closer to the bottom of the mat or the top of the mat. It's like right there in the middle of the mat. Because it does make a difference. If you take your arm up a little bit more, you're going to feel a little more chest. If you take it down a little more, you're going to feel a little less. Yeah, so with each exhale, you're just letting it kind of melt to the floor. All right, as we come back up to the top, I'm going to hope that this side's easier. Bringing that back heel up to your butt, taking that arm down, finding that foot. So then either pulling it back a little bit or gently and slowly pushing it down to the floor to get some of that inner thigh. If you think of it as that heel coming straight up to that same butt, so as we give that one a break, we come back to our side, taking that top arm up, using your breath to really lengthen your spine and just let that go back and just melt down to the floor. And then maybe play around with your arm a little bit, move it just an inch one way or the other and see what feels best for you. But each exhale, you're trying to relax. And then as we exhale, we'll bring it back up to the top. Bend that bottom leg. Go find it with that arm. So, it's not sufficient just to hold it. even though that might be sufficient for you to feel an intense stretch. But if you don't feel the intense stretch, then yeah, you're going to have to work it a little bit. Pulling either the knee back and pushing the foot gently to the floor. You can also think of pushing your tailbone underneath you, which would actually be moving it forward. So just all little ways to increase that stretch. I know you're like, yay! So as we release this one, and then slowly roll onto your back. And you gotta admit, that gets a lot of the body parts at once. Yeah. One side not so good for me, but obviously we need it. So the knees are bent. We're gonna go windshield wiper, arms out. So taking those hips to one side and then the other, going right through it. That way we get all of that stuff loosened out. Well, good, at least you were relaxing into your stretch. So we come back up to the top. You're gently going to press your lower back into the floor. This is what works the lower abdominals, which help to support your lower back. So relax, then inhale, exhale, press your lower back to the floor. Your tailbone goes to the ceiling. Then we're going to do it 2 more times. So let it relax. Exhale, press that belly button into the floor. Good, and then 1 more time. So you feel that the lower abdominals here are really just a little hip tilt. That's all you got to do to work them. So here we're going to relax. Take our knees into the chest. Again, thinking of rotating those hips to the ceiling. You guys like to rock back and forth, though. Oh, yeah, we'll do that if you like that. If you also like, you can bring your head up to the knees. So you rock back and forth. I like to bring the head to the knees and stretch the whole spine, but I'll leave it up to you. Then as we come down and relax that for a moment, we straighten the legs. If it's more comfortable for you to keep them bent, that's fine too. But we are just going to fine tune your posture. So we begin with your head. You're going to gently press it into the floor. So as you gently press it in, you want to feel those muscles in the back of your neck from the skull all the way down to your upper back. You're going to keep that head there, so you're going to maintain that little pressure into the floor. As you take a breath in and exhale and work your shoulders away from your ears. So walk those fingers as if you were going to go touch your ankles. Get them nice and long. So now as you inhale again, you exhale. You're going to pull those shoulders down to the floor. Pull your shoulder blades together. So now you have your head gently pressed into the floor. Shoulders are pulled away from your ears. Shoulder blades are pinched, so your hands should have rolled towards the ceiling. So we're going to maintain all that, and then we're just going to draw the belly button inward. Not really sucking it in, but getting some awareness of that belly button and your abdominals and how the lower back functions with them. So this is your perfect posture. And the more we remind your body of why we're doing this, to straighten your posture, to make all the stress come off the muscles and off of some of the internal organs, it'll start to accept it and do it more by itself. Deep breath, let your body just get used to that. It's also a good thing to do before bed, especially if you have trouble falling asleep. You can just start at the top of your head and think, okay, how can I, engage these muscles a little bit and get me in my posture. So now that we are done, we don't want to mess up our beautiful neck that just got perfectly aligned. So that means you're going to probably want to bend your knees, roll onto your side, and then your stomach. If you're going to come up, face up, then you need to curl into a ball and kick your whole body up. I'd rather have you come onto your side, but again, If you want to roll up as one big body unit, that's fine. We just got to be careful of the little whiplashes we give your neck every day. You know, popping out of bed and bringing the head up, so we always try to keep it well supported. Okay. The rotator cuff exercises, you can practice those every day if you want to. You can also just think about this right here, squeezing the shoulder blades. This is the rotator cuff motion, comes out about halfway, and hold it. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Bring it back in. Squeeze your shoulder blades. How about inhale, exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades. Well, anything that's going to get you to hold it, because what happens is you get here, you maybe hold it once, but if you start going fast, you're not going to be holding it at all. And then as you do that, that's pulling the shoulders back, that's pulling them down, that's your posture again. And that's what your body wants, but we're always like this. So it's up to you to make your body right.